Hi everyone, it's Crappy Kathy here with Freeze Friday spending report and layout share. Used lots and lots and lots of my stash this week and spent no money. Let's see if that's true. Oh, I bought some foam. I bought it and it was delivered yesterday. So I now have, let me show you my foam. Isn't that pretty? I love it when new foam comes in. And I go through it quickly enough. I've actually thought about, I can actually subscribe to it on Amazon. So anyway, let's go through these. I have already done 2 videos today and I did one at 2 o'clock in the morning, I think. Anyway, I need to get this done. I have to go drop off Katie's ballot in, she got her mail-in ballot yesterday and filled it out and had to work today. And so John and I are gonna drive over to the drop box near the water treatment plant, and we're gonna put it in the box. I don't think anybody got a picture of her with it or filling it out or anything. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of the envelope and then print it, and then I'm gonna have her hold up the printed envelope. I'll take a picture of her. So in other words, I'm gonna stage a fake voting picture for her first time voting in a presidential election. She just turned 18 in April, so this was a big thrill for her and for all the rest of us too. So anyway, I'm gonna start with the last one I did since my last review. This one was Project 1 in the Stash Bash Palooza that Christina Sorge did. The purpose of it was to do a gallery wall kind of just on this strip. And as you can see, I kind of went off book here. And yeah, this is primarily using Vicki Boutin's Storyteller and this awesome acrylic piece from Redefine Creative. And I love, I think the project called for this to be fringed, and I've asked for fringing scissors for my birthday, which is coming up in December. But until then, I'm just gonna tear and roll the ends up to get that texture. Okay, this is another one from Stash Bash Palooza. I love it because it has this interactive item on it, and I put the filtered photo of my very first scrap station on the front, and then I have the original undoctored photo that I took on my birthday. It was my 60th birthday in 2006, before we had moved away from Houston. So this was in the Woodlands. This was a sofa table from IKEA with my paper stacks and my some embellishment drawers, and this is where I kept my scraps. But the important thing here is it had a view of the large screen television, the fireplace, you know, as often as you use your fireplace in Houston, and the back of my hubby's head, and I could see out here to the palm trees growing around the pool. So, you know, life was good. I kind of sat there and scrapped my world. And right here was my birthday gift. It was a hardcover book about the Beatles. I think that was the whole book about Help? But anyway, when I got that book, it came with, I believe, DVDs or of movies. Anyway, it was right after this that we visited the kids and kind of got them hooked on Beatles movies. And in the Vicki Boutin Storyteller collection, there's this tag that is an interactive element itself. I glued it on here and did my journaling. And then you can close it up, and I put the twine on it to make it easy to flip up. So I love this, and I'm gonna cut a slit in my page protector so that this can stick out and so that you can open it up and look at it in the album. Okay, this one is another one which uses the triangles to create a horizontal element and has arrows pointing to the title done on a curve with the ampersand in the middle, and then all this line of vertical elements. I love this design so much. I can see myself using this, and I'm gonna lift myself on this for a hop coming up. So that was project number 3 in the Layout Palooza. This was project number 4 that we did, where I traced around a small bowl and a larger bowl, kind of held them to the side, then just did a bunch of stamping and then followed up with a bunch of like Nouveau drops and sequins. And this is a vellum flower, and I had a little scrap of die cut kind of zigzags there. And the word today, didn't use many supplies here, but I got in some bacon and the I Like You More Than Bacon, which is I think how Katie feels about her boyfriend, Leonard. And this was taking a picture after she, who is in cosmetology school, did his hair blue and then put on some blue eyeshadow to match the color. So I thought that was cute. This is another one from Layout Palooza. It was project number 7, but we did them out of order. And the point was to use a whole slew of tags and then to maybe incorporate tags in your photo cluster. So like most things, I kind of went overboard here and used a lot of orphaned embellishments. Most of these pages use, unless that, like the Storyteller collection is a new collection, but in here, all of this is from my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit. This is a die cut camera I probably did 3 years ago, a Maggie Holmes bow that was just lying around with no adhesive on it. This little paper clip I hadn't had any use for, a unicorn paper clip. And this is an Amy Tangerine donut. Just tags. This is a circle I cut from some Vicki Boutin mixed media, pre-made mixed media, and I die cut this sunshine out of that, a mixed media piece by Vicki Boutin. And then, you know, stuff, little stuff. This is one I did for 30 days of sketches and a load prompt. And I forget what the load prompt was. I didn't notice it there. Oh, somebody, the title is You Are My Person. And so it was about someone that's special to you. And so this is a photo of my husband with his bright blue eye, just looking up with a smile and showing off his pumpkin. And it was just such a fun, he's wearing his Mickey Mouse t-shirt. It was a fun picture, and it's one of the best smiles that he's shown me in a while. And so I just love it. And these are all the pumpkins. I printed photos of all the pumpkins that everybody painted, including his, which is this one right here. He put some silver glitter on the top. And then I just kind of used them as an embellishment cluster around. And of course, I finally used my little paint palette there. And little bits of cut files, including these frames and these here, you know, receipt ticket. So lots of fun kind of putting that together. This one was for Scrap Squad Sunday, easy for me to say, last Sunday. And the original that I was lifting is this one, which is gorgeous. And these big flowers gave me the idea to stamp some flowers with the Vicki Boutin Wildflower and Honey set, which I think are my favorite of her flowers. I put a little tissue paper behind it, have some tickets and some packaging and a tab and a vellum camera and some black thread and little colorful birds that kind of match the colors and the polka dots here. And then the yellow sequins kind of mix in there with the black dots. I like this page better than 90% of the pages I've ever done. So this is another one I like because it's fairly minimalistic. This was the sketch. It's a Laura Rumble sketch, and it's a lot of butterfly trails. And hers, I'm sure, done with meticulous hand stitching. I used glue and baker's twine for mine, and I did it on this kind of nicely textured craft background and used some scraps from Vicki Boutin Storyteller. I think just about everything except the twine on here is from Storyteller. This one's got scraps, but a little bit of Storyteller. This is a the Off the Board, the monthly hop where we all pick a Pinterest pin and then use it for inspiration in a layout. And this time we were to be inspired by something to do with wine, and it could be wine, W-I-N-E, like I used here, or wine, W-H-I-N-E. So there were a few people who took off on that tangent. So when I think of pictures of wine, I don't have a whole lot of photos of wine, but this one is in Mykonos at a lunch where I'm having a Greek salad and some, feta cheese and some crusty bread and these beautiful flowers, and that's the Aegean Sea, this little bit of blue you see in my filtered photo. So I used lots of blues, and I titled it Wine, the Aegean, You and Me. And this is a bird cage, but it kind of looks like the roof of one of the white buildings set against the gorgeous blues of the Aegean Sea. And all of these circles were fussy cut from the vellum sheet in the Storyteller collection. And this heart vellum came from Christina Sorge, and I honestly don't know whether it was in a kit or a Palooza supplies, or with I'll have to ask her one of these days. It might have come with a kit, a cut file kit, Creative Cuts file. This one was one, I've done a lot of these triangles pointing to the center kind of layouts lately, and I wanted to do something different. And I knew I was working with these two photos, and I kind of thought that this would be a great design because it would kind of focus your attention on them, and it would look like they were walking into the abyss, or it was through a hole or something. And so this is the packaging that came with Vicki Boutin's stencils, and that packaging is behind all of the embellishment packs as well with Storyteller. And so I had some fussy cut Storyteller flowers. I put that in there, and then the load prompt required mixed media, so I used one of the stencils that this was the packaging for to brush on some colors that I thought would be compatible with this watercolory design and with these kind of peachy looking flowers. So I love this, and I had these fussy cut tickets from an old Paige Evans line, I think. And this is an original photo and the same photo filtered with the, I think that's with the Waterlog app. Okay, this one was a fun one. It was kind of, the load prompt was about Someone you feel like you've known, even though they're a celebrity and you don't know them. And in this case, I kind of turned that around to people I felt knew me. So when Frankie Avalon sang Venus, I was sure he wanted her to find me. When Paul was singing She Was Just 17 in I was sure it was because he saw me standing there because I was just 17. I was always fascinated with New York and envisioned that after college I would move there and become part of the, I don't know, intelligentsia at book readings and poetry slams and coffee houses and the like. And Neil Diamond's Brooklyn Roads and Beautiful Noise and New York kinds of songs sort of fed that dream. And now all I dream about is margaritas on the beach, and Jimmy Buffett kind of feeds that. So I used lots of scraps. I kind of halfway followed this design, but the size of my scraps was probably disproportionate to actually achieving that cohesive design look. But I love it anyway. And I got in some Hawaiian shirt print there, and some flip-flops and some tickets and some, I just love it. So this one was fun too. The design was for a straight banner, with look-alike banners and some upside-down tags and a large 4x6 photo. So I did, and it was about floral photography, and floral photography is kind of my thing. I think I mentioned this in the video for this layout. I have 50,000 photos in my photos library on my Mac. And of those 50,000 photos, I'm going to wager that 20,000 of them are garden photos. Close-ups of flowers, distant pictures of the garden, things like that. But each of these flower pictures has some kind of special memory. This, I didn't think the clematis bloomed any more often than once in spring. And it bloomed on the day that I did this page, just a couple days ago. These Texas bluebonnets, I took that photo from my car as I stopped at a stop light in the Woodlands. I think it was in the Woodlands, the year that I knew we were moving away from Texas. These gazanias were in bloom there. This is my purplest. I've moved this daylily from about 5 different houses to here. And this is Reese checking out a flower. And this picture of Ava was taken with the first tulips I was ever able to grow when I finally lived in a place that had cool enough evenings not to make all the petals fall off. And of course, little tiny Ava looking up at these gigantic flowers that I had grown from nothing, is one of my favorite photos. And she's got kind of a scrunchy look on her face. And this one is of 3 kids at a wedding. And that sounds like the beginning of a joke, but they actually were remarkably well behaved, and that kind of holds true from their dad. If I wanted him to behave, like when I took him to a Neil Diamond concert, for example, I'd dress him up in an Oxford cloth shirt and a sports coat and his little khaki pants and some nice shoes. And he behaved like he was in church. I mean, it was amazing. And he thought it was a special place, and that deserves special behavior. And if you'd known James, picturing him behaving at a concert with like 50,000 or 20,000 other people, that doesn't quite compute, but he did. And this is all Paige Evans, Take the Scenic Route, and I had a lot of fun with that. These circles were all from scraps. This one's another Vicki Boutin Storyteller, and it's about things that are rare. The load prompt was about something that was rare, and this was the sketch. This is the exact same sketch I used for this layout, but I turned it on its side so that the scallops were down here, and instead of scallops I used tags. And I used branding strips as the ribbon, quote unquote ribbon, on the tags. And it's about how much we miss Nashville now that we don't make that trip to pick up the kids like we used to. This one is one I did in this was my 1:30 a.m. Video that I made this morning. It was after I'd gotten the load prompt. The load prompt was about your favorite afternoon beverage. And so the thought that came to mind was, it needs to be water. And then the thought that came to mind was, ooh, I have those pictures that came up, or that picture that came up in my memories of Ava watering the plants. So I'll talk about the plant's favorite afternoon beverage, which is water. And the design called for 7 photos, so I did 7 different edits, including different crops of the photo, of the same photo of Ava watering. And she used to ask, she said, I think I need to water the plants because they look thirsty. So the title of the page is Thirsty. So I love this. I used a very old collection called On Trend, and I had actually been hoarding it because I love this floral, and I was able to gut enough out of the back so that I could cut the floral out here. And I used 2 pages of the same paper. I guess you can tell that. And these are scraps from Vicki Boutin Storyteller, and this is one I did day before yesterday, or yesterday, I guess, and it went live today. This is kind of before and after, or then and now, kind of photos of Katie in Halloween makeup. And there's a lot of mixed media underneath those photos that doesn't show. But I think enough shows at the sides for you to get an idea. I die cut these leaves from a Tim Holtz set of dies, and these, I guess those are from there. These and this little fence gate, fencing, I guess I'm going to call it, is from Bramble Fox. And this was for a prompt. I did this one for doing double duty, playing with 31 Days of Spooky Scraps with Erica Breslin, otherwise known as California Lucky, and the Mixed Media Frenzy, just a bunch of hocus pocus hop that is going on today. And it's about costumes. The prompt for 31 Days was about costumes. So I talked about the different costumes that Katie has worn this year, including her casual school clothes, and then all of a sudden her very casual at-home school clothes, and then her cap and gown for her drive-by graduation, and then her work uniform and her school uniform, the apron that she has to wear for her practicals in the in cosmetology school. And all in all, this girl has grown in maturity 20 years in the last 20 days. I think she's an amazing human, and I'm very proud of her and happy to feature her. She did this makeup herself using some of my scrapbooking supplies several years ago. And then she took this great selfie. I took some photos of her that were terrible, but she took this selfie. Just, I don't know, she's just amazing. So those are the layouts. I think there are 17 here, and it's lots and lots and lots of scraps. All of these die cuts are from scraps. This is an actual piece of ephemera from Storyteller, and this sticker are from Storyteller. The stamps are a couple Bo Bunny sets I got a couple years ago. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week with my Freeze Friday report. And in the meantime, go out there and make pretty things with stuff you have. I've really enjoyed shopping my own stash, and I plan to do it for at least another year. Or from now on, because I think I'm happy with the only infusion of new supplies being from the 2 kits I subscribe to. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.